Hey guys, welcome to Home Sweet Homeschool. If you're new here, my name is Ashley and I'm a homeschooling mom to one. And in today's video, we're going to do a February recap, March goals. Now I know we're kind of already into March, but I had other videos planned for the beginning of March. So we're just going to go ahead and do it now. It really doesn't matter, does it? So February, I really enjoy February. I think I enjoy how short it seems compared to January. January seems like such a long month, and so does March. But February is just this nice short month. But even though it was so short, I felt like we got a lot accomplished. Now, one thing I will say is it was a trying time. It was very different. We didn't have like the most smooth sailing February there was. Right before, I want to say like the last week of January, my mom got COVID. And if you don't know, she was diagnosed with cancer around December 15th. And so, we're dealing with that. And then she got COVID the last week of January. So we had been around her. And so the other child that I teach couldn't come the end of that week because we'd already been around her and we didn't want, we want to spread it to him in case we had it. And then the next week, we had our week off. So we were doing 6 weeks on, 1 week off, and it was finally time for our week off. And so we had that week off. And then the very next week, my son was sick, and then so the other child couldn't come, and then the other child got sick in the meantime. And so we only saw the other child that I teach for 4 days in the month of February. So that didn't go so well for him because in between us being sick, him being sick, my mom being sick, it was just a whole lot of sick. But my son was able to do work while he was sick. We did a lighter load, but we were able to have school days and we were still able to just work through our curriculum. So that worked out. I don't feel like we missed out on a lot of learning. I think a lot of learning still happened. Also, during that time, the first week of February is when my mom started her chemo. And so the first one didn't go so well because she was like recovering from COVID. She had COVID and she was recovering from it. So the first one was kind of very hard for her. And then her second treatment, she goes every 2 weeks, did not affect her as badly. She was still a little bit nauseous and things like that, and tired, of course, but they do give her nausea medication. And she's a great team that's, telling her how to prevent all these things from happening. And everything's going as good as it can go, So still, if you will please just keep my mom in your prayers. We just want this chemo to work and we want her to feel better. And so if you'll just keep praying for her, that would be great. So her third treatment would have actually happened. You're watching this on a Wednesday and she would have had it this past Monday. So that's an update on my mom and our sickness in February. So we still, like I said, we got a lot done, and I'm so excited to say that we actually did our poetry unit for British literature. That was something I talked about wanting to do in January and just did not get to it. And so I was so determined that we were going to spend some time during February doing that, and that's exactly what we did. So I just have some of it right here. I bought the PDF download of Learning Language Arts Through Literature, and it's the British literature one because we had read a lot of British literature and I thought, why not throw in some poetry? And so I just used this unit to kind of walk through, what's included in a poem and how our poem's written. And we just studied a bunch of different poems and it went okay. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing to my son. He doesn't love poetry, but I did want to expose it to him, and we met that goal finally. That was something I wanted to get done in February, and we finally did it, so that goal was met. We also finished up U.S. History 4. I did a review on this, so if you haven't seen the review or the flip through of it, those are on my channel as well. We finished this and started U.S. History 5, so that's something exciting. This time of the year is really exciting to me because you really start thinking about next year. And if you can see right here, this is new curriculum that's coming in for next year. And I should have 2 more things coming, but I'm so excited. I always got excited when I taught school, thinking about what I was going to do the next year, how I was going to change things. And so I still do that with homeschool. It's almost like we just want to wrap things up. And so last night I was sitting looking at the calendar to see how many weeks we had left and things like that. And I'm like, okay, we'll be done with health at this point, and then we'll be done with math at this point. And it's really neat to see all your hard work like coming to a close and getting ready for the next school year. So that's kind of what March is going to be, just kind of putting our heads down, getting the work in. We don't really have any trips or anything like that coming up in March. We do have one in May, but nothing for March and April. And so I really just want to hunker down and get some work done. We're still going to spend some time outside because it's going to be really pretty soon. We're getting into spring and the weather's warming up and it's going to be great. But I do want us to knock out as much curriculum as we can, because really by May and by the time we go spend time in the mountains for Teach Them Diligently, when we come back, we really just don't want to do any more school, even though we need to finish some up. So the more that we can knock out March and April, the less we'll have to do in May. And so I'm just going to try to get us to hunker down and get stuff done. That is my goal. Just keep going each day, each day of March, just doing the next thing and getting some things done. I did make a change, or just kind of added something. So we do use the theme-based writing from IEW, not every week. Not like that. We also use the writing that's included inside The Good and the Beautiful, and it's great for what it is. They both are. But my son, who is very interested in writing, just gets kind of bored with some of those assignments, and so he is very creative. And I just sat down with my husband one night, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I want him to enjoy writing. He likes to write. What can we do? And he's like, well, if he wants to get better at writing, he just needs to write every day. And so he helped me, and it was so great. He helped me brainstorm just a ton of different ideas that he knew my son would be interested in. Now, that's not to say that he's not ever going to have to write about something he doesn't want to, because there will be times when he has to do that. So when he does the IEW stuff, or he does the Good and the Beautiful stuff, those may not be topics that he really wants to write about, but I think that's important too, that sometimes you just have to take what you know about the structure and style of writing and do a topic that you're not crazy about. So we're just mixing it both. We're doing the really fun topics that really just hook him in and he's excited about. And then we also use IEW and the Good and the Beautiful. So that's kind of been an extra that we've added in. So if we're writing in the creative type way, I'm not going to pull something from IEW or from the Good and the Beautiful. I just kind of rotate them depending on the week and depending on, what I think he really needs to be working on. And that has worked out so far. He has put out more writing since we've done that than he has in a long time. He doesn't mind the topics. He will sit down, he'll make the outline, and he'll get started. And so I'm so excited about that. So we've just really started to just add in a bunch of different creative things for him to do on topics that he really loves, while combining the other things that are in his curriculum. So that was just really one of the changes, I do believe. So other than that, February went okay. March is looking to be okay too. Let me know in the comments, did you meet your February goals? What are your March goals? Are you doing any unit studies? Do you have any fun trips planned for spring? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for watching.